What's up? I've got 15% on my phone battery, so let me make the most of this limited resource. How fitting, because that's what I'm going to talk about. I was looking at the point of integrity with money. I wrote my blog about it today. It's really important. Because I know if you're a guy out there, or if you're a lady, especially if you're a married lady, I know your husband's going through this. But it's so embedded in our world, this point. Okay? Just so you can see how embedded it is. I would bet that over 100 times a day, this thought actually crosses your mind. Might be subconscious, you might suppress it, but it's in there. 100 times a day. Do you want to fix it? I'll tell you what it is in a minute, but if I were to tell you that, there's something that 100 times a day is going to cross your mind and influence you, wouldn't you want that cleared up so you could have 100 more effective thoughts? It's like do some spring cleaning in your mind. So here's what it is, without further delay. It's money. It's freaking money. When you don't have it, you want more of it. When you got it, you don't want to lose it. When you make it, you don't want to pay tax on it. When you spend it, sometimes you feel good, sometimes you feel bad. That fucking thing called money. When you got a cat and you got to get your cat food, and you think, should I get the fancy kind, or should I get her no food and she should just be a cat and eat the mice in the field back there? You know it. If you're honest with yourself, you know you have that thought. You're like, oh, the money. I want to go out to eat tonight, but Or you've liberated yourself and you got rich. Congrats. But on some level, you still don't want to lose it. On some level, you still think about it. And on some level, you know that the average person in our world has a screwed up relationship to money, and it will cause them to do stupid things. And thus, it has an influence on your life. Because if they're now undergoing money troubles, so their relationship is on the rocks, and now they're going to go out drinking, and then they go get buzzed and then drive home, that puts you at risk if you're on the road. Or if your other neighbor is, I don't know, just not having a good relationship with money, and then now they're like weird, or like they don't raise their kids that well, and now you got to kind of avoid them when you go down the street. It's like so much of our world is influenced by money and people's reaction to it. So I think I made my point clear. So now let me get into the actual juice of this. Lady came in for the juice. Yeah, what's up, lady? It's restoring integrity with your money. I actually first realized this when I got into sales. This was years ago. And one person told me that the objection that you get is the one you have. I always thought that was interesting. Like, for example, let's say within myself, I don't like spending extra money, or I react to spending money beyond a certain, threshold I have in my mind. But then I'm out here trying to sell someone something that's expensive. It's like I will obviously be met with resistance because people subconsciously pick up on that shit. This video isn't just for people who do sales, but everything in life is sales, actually. Even if you work a job in a W-2, or even if you're a mom at home or whatever, you're still selling people. And if you're congruent and you have integrity and you know what you stand for and you've done the work on yourself, you will be able to effectively sell. If you haven't done that, you're going to be met with subconscious resistance in yourself and in the other person. It's like if you don't brush your teeth at night consistently and your 3-year-old doesn't want to brush their teeth consistently, they may not have the words for it, but they'll sense it and they'll see that you're a hypocrite. And so that's what I want to help you figure out. So in this video, I want to give you a really simple lesson here. This is something that I avoided for a long time. And then when I finally did it, it was so liberating. And it was get hyper clear on actually what is happening in my finances. I looked at the point of every month, how much I would have going out. And I kind of had a general idea. And I kind of had a general idea of my income. And it was pretty good when things are growing. But then let's say you have a slow month, or something happens, or something falls through, or whatever. Or you got a new big investment you got to make, and you're getting a new car or a new home, and something rocks the boat. If you then keep thinking about it, it shows you haven't really resolved it. So here's what I recommend. I'm going to recommend you actually read the blog I wrote today, and I'll link to it. But in it, I explain how first I explain the mental and energetic reactions we have to money, and that we have to like finances and this idea of like financial freedom and having more income than expenses and all that. Because that shit's in there deep. And then also though, after that, I explain a really simple process you can do of writing out what your income is. And then line by line, going through your bank statements, your credit cards, however you spend your money for the past 3 months, and literally writing it all out in a spreadsheet. And then you average it so you understand. Like, let's say you're spending whatever, $6,000 a month. Okay. But you like actually know that now. Like you see it, you've seen for the past 3 months, that is actually the average. Now you have it. Guess what? Now you have clarity. You no longer have to have that thought of like, oh, I should budget, or oh, I have some extra money, or I want to go on a vacation. It's like, it shuts up your mind. That's really what it does. It shuts up the back chat in your mind that goes back and forth like a roller coaster of the fantasy of, I want to have more money to do all this shit. And then, oh no, I don't know if we have enough to get this thing or go on a vacation or whatever. It just shuts that up because you actually objectively see it. Now, realistically, if you haven't been doing work on yourself to reprogram your mind, you will still have backchat, guaranteed. But this helps knock down that first domino so you can objectively see your relationship with money. Because remember earlier in the video I was saying how you'll have 100 times a day some thought related to money? This will help. So you get the expenses clear. Then you get your income clear. And if you only have a job right now, that's tough because you're going to be limited. If you're looking for a side hustle or you're looking to have a business, hit me up. I have different things I can show you. Because when you now realize, like let's say you do have a company. Like for me, I have an education company. And if my wife wants something, like we want to build in those willow trees, a cool tree house in between them. There you go. In between those two. I want to build an awesome tree house in there that people can stay in. And it could have like a little heater in it. And like even in the winter, like hardcore winter storm blizzard, you could still stay in it and like you'd be great. See, I want to do that. But I don't want to do it in like a cheap way. I want to like actually do it right. That's going to cost a lot of money. And I want to do it right so it can stay there safely for, the next 50 years. For me, I don't then just go, great, I got that money in one of my accounts, let's just do it. It's like, no, I'm going to use that as a reward. Like I have a structure set up. I mean, it's a little more advanced, but I have a structure set up so that way when new money comes in, I can allocate parts of it towards things like that are going to move our property and our vision and everything forward. So with the income part, okay, so you're going to have your spreadsheet. You're going to figure out what your expenses are. Then you're going to have your spreadsheet for your income. Once you know what those numbers are, you can then see realistically, okay, how much do I have left over after every month? And for some of you, it's negative. And you've been putting money on, or you've been putting your purchases on credit cards, or you've had different ways of figuring it out. What's interesting is now this like gets rid of the boogeyman because you can actually just see it for what it is. And then especially for those of you who have business or are interested in that, you can now create money. You can go create value for other people. You can go talk to enough people. You can go bring value to their life and then get paid money for that. And if you don't know how to do that, you should really reach out, because that is a skill set you're going to need in the future. Because what if your job gets lost to AI in the next few years, or a robot, or someone else who is using AI or robots, or some other company comes in and disrupts it? Wouldn't you rather have a really good alternative plan for if that happens? Wouldn't you want to have your own business? Because that's literally the only way to create financial freedom in the current system. I mean, unless you're born rich or you somehow inherit the money. Like, any business allows you to have an excess of income compared to your expenses. Any sort of job, I mean, unless you get stock options and you're at like a Fortune 500 company, you're not really going to get ahead. And what's really nasty too is typically when you get a promotion, your expenses will grow to fill that. I've seen this. I've seen months where I would make $3,000, and then I saw months where I'd make $30,000. And it's funny how many things you start to want to buy when you have that money there. That's why I've had to do the inner work on myself, because it was painful to go through that. Like, you make a lot of money, you lose a lot of money, you make the money, you lose the money. And it's like, okay, I got to actually just sort this out once and for all. So that's what I call integrity with money. So get that started for yourself. And then if you want help with that, hit me up. I can give you pointers and what's helped me massively. And I've seen a lot of other people really take this on more than before. And it's fun when you got a lot of friends who also have this sense of responsibility with money, because then you guys can do cool things together. Like next year, we're all going on a cruise together. It's going to be awesome. And next month, I'm going to be in Texas with a bunch of my friends. And we're not going to have to worry about like, which Airbnb should we stay at? Should it be the cheaper one or the less cheap one? It's like, no, we just got the nicest one we could find for all of our families. And we're going to have the most fun 5 days. And we're going to hang out at our friend's ranch. And it's going to be awesome. And it's like, when you do the money thing right, you can get to the point where you don't have to worry about it. But you got to actually have the courage to face it, because I know it can be really uncomfortable, and I know it can actually be scary, because you will feel like your survival is being threatened, which in a sense, yeah, your survival is already being threatened every day that we live in this world with this current system. So I'm here to help change that. But I can only help you if you're teachable and coachable. So if you want advice on this, or you want to see more in depth how you map it out, well, read the blog and then just do it. Just try. Just try and do it. And if you get stuck, then message me and I will give you some tips. Because once you get this clear, think how freaking good it feels when now you don't have to worry about the money.